Green drinks, an incredible way to drink yourself to health and vitality. I recommend green drinks to many of my patients, but I customize them a bit to whatever their complaints and concerns are. But I'm going to give you a tried and true recipe that I have formulated that looks green, but it really tastes like a malted, and you can make it taste like a nutty malted, and it's really delicious, and we can add things to it that make it more protective for bone or more protective for brain. So we're going to go through that, so there's variations on a theme, and it always starts with a backbone of a handful of parsley. Parsley is really rich in a very special flavonoid. You've all heard about resveratrol that comes in the skin of grapes that's considered now an anti-aging major antioxidant component. Well, to rival the grape skin, there is inside parsley apigenin, which is also anti-aging in that it's very balancing for hormones. So I really love parsley because it's a basic hormone balancer, and we need to keep our hormones balanced as we go through life to give us more energy, more focus, and keep us on our feet. So a handful of parsley is the base of this green drink. And it also makes it taste really delicious because parsley is so benign. But basically, you're not going to taste much of the greens in here. Then I like to put one other green, whether it's a handful of spinach or one leaf of chard or one leaf of kale. You don't want to use raw spinach every day. This is a very high oxalate food, and eating a high oxalate food every day can promote the formation of kidney stones, and 80% of kidney stones are more made of oxalate. So I did have one patient who came in with 18 different kidney stones happening all at the same time in both kidneys, and when we tried to sleuth her diet, she had met with a friend that recommended green drinks, and she was having 4 cups of raw spinach every day. So you don't want to do that. You don't also want to take your calcium on an empty stomach. That also promotes the formation of kidney stones. So there's really sensible do's and don'ts with nutrition. So one day a handful of spinach, the next day a leaf of chard, the next day a leaf of kale, so there's diversity in your greens. And that's basically the base of the drink. Then what we do is we fill it up with water to the top of the greens. And then we have optional ideas. One of the ways I make it taste really good is by delicious vanilla whey protein powder. That basically makes it taste like a vanilla shake. You don't have to use this. You can use the other ingredients without this, but I happen to prefer this. And one of the whey powders that I really like is Dr. Mercola's peanut whey powder because it gives it a nutty flavor, but there is milk in this and not everybody can consume milk. And that costs a fair amount of money. It's kind of a sophisticated whey protein powder. I know that the real health elite would never use muscle milk from Costco, but I say, hey, if you hardly have any money and you've really got to watch your pennies, I'd rather have you had a green drink, a protein drink with a grade of protein powder that isn't as pure as another grade of protein powder if that's all you can afford. So it's always whatever can you pay to get the best bang for your buck in your health. So I like to put a little bit of a scoop of vanilla protein powder, which I feel gives it a great flavor. And then I put in a little bit of nut butter, either almond or peanut. The way to make this more homogeneous, sometimes the fresh peanut butters can get kind of oily on top, is to store it upside down. And then the real trick of this green drink is a half of a handful of cashew nuts. Cashew nuts homogenize this entire mix and give you really good oils for your brain. If you want to add a fruit, which people are eating less and less of fruit, but a great fruit in this is a banana. I'll put in a half a banana. And then the secret is to put in a lot of ice cubes. That's the basis of this great green drink, and then I'm going to show you how to individualize it for your bones and or your brain. The trick of using this, though, is to liquefy it till you think the blender is going to have to go in for a stint because it's on the edge of a heart attack. I use my trusted Vitamixer. A regular blender does not work as well on green drinks, and it liquefies the entire combination. You can use the nut butter by itself. You can just put in a handful of cashew nuts and use them by themselves. You can play with this combination. But it basically looks very green, but it actually tastes like the wonderful nutty vanilla malted. I wish you were here, because you really have no idea how great this tastes. This is incredible. I mean, it tastes so good, I can't even tell you. This is, people cringe when you say green drink, but if you tasted this, it just tastes like, this one I added the banana, it tastes like nutty banana vanilla malted. Now, your brain has neurotransmitters that deliver messages to your brain to keep your moods and your immune system and everything working in sync. And to do that, it needs a lot of a substance called acetylcholine. Well, in the plant kingdom, there's everything. And stinging nettle is the highest plant food in acetylcholine. So when people have mood issues or hormone issues, I can take organic, dried, stinging nettle, and to this one I've added a little horsetail, which is good for the bones, and put in a tablespoon. Depending on what's going on, I could put in more or less. This is just herbs that help, like a WD-40 on the brain, all of the messages in the brain working better, messengers in the brain. When you liquefy it, you don't taste it at all. So I've put in herbs to customize and boost the value of my green drink, but because the green drink tastes so great, you don't taste these herbs at all. So you're getting hidden bang for your buck. I'm going to have to give this to a production guy because I can see his eyes. He probably doesn't believe it tastes as good as it does. I could actually live on this. And this, by blending your greens, they're much more bioavailable. They get down to your cells in a much better way than just chewing on food. Most of us eat, in fact, we overeat while our cells starve. Having green drinks really brings the nutrition more down to those potentially starving cells. And starting the day with a green drink, even before you have your cup of coffee, and it makes enough for you to have another cup of this later in the day. If you feel like it with just stirring it, it makes it all homogenate again, is a real delicious, healthy way to go. I know when I start patients on this, they start telling me that their face and skin within under 6 weeks start looking so good. In fact, there was an article where they said, hey, telling people about nutrition isn't working. Everyone's fatter and more unhealthy. Let's just tell them about vanity. Because if you eat colorful vegetables after 6 weeks, they were able to show in a study that people actually started looking better. They were perceived as more attractive. So hey, vanity's my favorite sin, and if you can use that as a way to get you to do green drinks and feel better over time, because it means you also look better, what the heck. So, the Kitchen Doctor is in, transforming science into a fantastic breakfast beverage, which you really should try because it tastes so great even though it looks green.